Where are you located?
I'm in Ohio.
Okay, cool. Got a lot of animals back there.
Uh, my horses.
I like it. I like it. Well, it's great to meet
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for taking a minute out today for the show. I appreciate it.
Sure, not a problem. I appreciate you having me.
You bet. So before we get into your life and your work, I want to know 4 years ago we were trying to figure out this pandemic. How did you get through the pandemic and how did it change you?
Uh, I might get in trouble for this, but it didn't stop me from taking care of my dad. I went to see him and he was in his 90s. So, hey, I did what I had to do and
Yeah.
it didn't slow me down, except,
Okay.
you know, going to the store and stuff. I let him be ordered. Then I got into the habit. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get to the heart and soul of what you do on a daily basis as an author and an illustrator. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of third grade students. It's probably a good crowd to be in front of. And one of the kids is curious and says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer them?
I tell them that I am an author illustrator, which means that I do the writing, I write the story, and then I draw the pictures that go with it. And they get a kick out of that. Some of them really like the little puffball.
Yeah. Yeah. So what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream?
I wanted to be an artist.
Okay. So you're living your dream.
Finally, yes.
Yeah.
I had a huge hiccup in the middle, between high school and when I first wrote my book. It's gone through a lot of changes. But since then, yeah, there's life happened.
Absolutely. Well, let's get to the beginning of your timeline. Where were you born and raised, and how did these tendencies of being an artist and an illustrator and a writer, how did all of this kind of grow into who you are?
That's an interesting story. When I was 3 years old, I lived in Northridge, which is a small community just north of Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
And there was a guy who came around with a pony for pictures of kids on the pony. And my mom took my picture. I was in love. I
Yeah.
had never seen a horse up close or a pony, and I was in love. And so I began trying to draw them with crayons from that point on. It was just uh, experimenting constantly, drawing, and eventually they began to look like a horse. So when I was in high school, that was what I was known for, the horse girl, in
Yeah.
art, in my
Yeah.
art classes. So
Yeah.
yeah, I majored in art in high school and did that my first year of college, and then life happened. Um, and many years later, I came back to the book that I had kind of written in high school and did all the artwork for it as a project. Took it to college, did a chapter book for young readers, and tried to get it published at that point. And I sent it to the wrong publishing company. And I got married right after that. They sent me the information back right before we moved, and it was like, okay, we can't accept it. We like your artwork, but we can't accept it because we don't do children's books. So many years later, after several moves and all over the country, I'm back in Ohio. Um, it was just time. It was just time for me. I
Yeah.
just felt like it was time, and I did the first book, Allie's Big Adventure, in colored pencil.
Yeah.
Well, my second book is going to be in acrylics, so the colors are going to be much more vibrant.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting to be able to do the artwork after you've written the story.
Yeah. Absolutely it is. So what was the book that really moved you growing up? What was the children's book, illustrative book in general that really inspired you to want to write and to want to do this life?
Well, there were so many books. A lot of them were horse books.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I had every black stallion book you could possibly imagine. I had the coloring book, the big picture book that had the beautiful illustrations all the way through it. That's what triggered me, and I thought I would love to do that kind of artwork. And the writing came along when I was in college because I put this little book together in high school and created my little characters. my little brother was kind of his imaginary friend was named Boy, and I had Boy as my character in my book. But at excuse me, as I got into college, I realized he can't go by Boy. But I gave him the name Micah, which with the spelling that I have, it comes out Mika,
Yeah.
which is fine because he's kind of from a northern tribe of Native Americans. That was what I based it on
Yeah. Yeah.
to help the puffball get home. So yeah, yeah, that was.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So who's been kind of an inspiration for you, a hero for you in your life?
Oh wow. I've had a lot of heroes. I had a teacher who was really, really good at bringing me out of my shell. He believed in me. He just kind of encouraged me constantly. Just do your best, do whatever. And I stayed in touch with him for quite a while. Mercy, I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you're okay.
Hmm. But because of that, I felt a little more confident in myself.
Sure.
So I thought I never found out what happened to him. We stayed in touch for a long time until after we married. It was kind of weird um, how I lost touch with him. My daughter came along, and I ended up taking care of parents and, that sort of thing for a lot of years. So I got interrupted big time about that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. If you can meet one illustrator or author, who would it be? Who would you love to meet and talk to?
David Wiesner.
Okay. Okay.
He is, when I saw his artwork, I discovered his book probably right before the pandemic, probably a couple years before. Um, and I was just enthralled with the artwork. I just loved it. And I thought, wow, wow, this is the kind of art I want to do someday,
Yeah.
when I grow up. And as I did my first book and then started experimenting again, I thought, okay, maybe I can do something like that.
Yeah.
We just have different genre. I mean, different types of artwork. It's our styles are different, but I tell you, that really inspired me to get going.
Yeah. So what is your inspiration every day to do this work that you do and to also evolve? What is that for you?
There's a little kid living inside of me
Hmm.
who keeps he keeps pushing me. The little kid says, "Okay, it's time to go. It's time to do."
Yeah,
And when I
absolutely.
sit down to the artwork, when I sit down to my board after I've written the story, because I wrote the second book, the sequel to Allie's Big Adventure. I wrote the sequel, and it came so naturally. When the editor saw it, she said, "I can hear this little guy's voice all through this." And I thought, okay, okay, yeah, that's what I wanted, was that voice to come through and tell me, kick my butt, get over here and do the drawings, and just keep at it.
Yeah.
So it's the little kid.
Yeah. So of all of these things that you've done in your life, what are you the proudest of?
My first book,
Yeah.
that was a big hurdle right there. I think I was the biggest block for that. I didn't know that I could accomplish that because it was like, do you really believe that you can do this? Um, but after doing it, it was like, okay, we can do this again. We
Yeah.
can do this again. Yeah. So
So is the person behind the books, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, all of your fans, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
well, I'm this person trying to catch up with the little kid, trying to
Yeah,
stay ahead of the little kid.
absolutely.
But I'm very comfortable doing the artwork and writing the stories, everything just sort of oozes out. It's like, okay, you write the story, and I've got some short stories that I want to turn into books, but we'll see what happens there. But right now, I'm working on the sequels to this first book, and I don't know, it just keeps wanting to come out.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So Roxy, if anyone wants to pick up the book, they want to learn more about you, reach out. Where's the best place to go?
Okay, they can go to my website, roxiefeist.com, or they can go to Amazon for the to buy the book, or Barnes and Noble. Barnes and Noble carries it. You can also do a search online, and if you put in Roxie Fiste correctly, it should come up all of it. So my website has all kinds of things. Like there's a newsletter. There's they can sign up for that and have little activities for their kids that they can work through with them. It was my goal to give free visits to classrooms. We could just do some exploring after I would read the book and explain what an author is and what an illustrator is, then to just expand and let the kids' imaginations run wild,
Yeah.
and just push that part of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Excellent. This has been great. Roxie, thank you for your story. Thank you for your time. Best of luck with the sequels and everything that comes your way. It's wonderful to see dreams come true.
well, thank you. I appreciate it very much. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. Take care.